The Rambam in Hilchos Tefillah paskins that if one is not mechaven during the Tefillah, he's not yotzi, he has to repeat it. And then the Rambam elsewhere paskins that if a person is mechaven liboy during the avos, the section of the Tefillah in which we say the avos, so then the Rambam says he was yotze, even if he wasn't mechaven for the rest of the Tefillah. And this is an obvious contradiction. In the Chedush Reb Chaim, Reb Chaim Soloveitchik, he resolves the contradiction by saying that when the Rambam speaks of mechaven liboy during the section of avos, that one has fulfilled his responsibility, the Rambam is talking about Pirush HaMilos, to understand the translation and the meaning of the words. That if a person understands the meaning of the words for that section of the Shemona Esrei, they were yotze, they fulfilled their responsibility, even if they didn't understand the words of the rest of the Tefillah. However, when the Rambam makes a statement and says that if one is not mechaven during Tefillah, that he has not yotze, he hasn't fulfilled his responsibility, and must repeat the Shemona Esrei, there Reb Chaim says the Rambam is not referring to Pirush HaMilos, to the translation and the meaning of the words, but rather the Rambam means what he expresses in Sefer Morah Nevuchim, in which he's talking about that the person has kavanah, the person has the knowledge and the intention that he is standing Bnei keneged the Shechina, in the presence of Hashem, in the presence of Hashem's divine manifestation. And there, the Rambam says, if a person doesn't have that kavan, if a person is not aware of that during their davening at any point, then the davening is unacceptable. It's disqualified, and he has to daven again. What is the reason for this? Rabbi Rucham Levovitz in the Sefer Das Chochma Musa expounds and says, because the mahus, the essence of tefillah, of davening, is realizing that we are standing in the presence of the Shekhinah. The essence of davening, the fundamental foundation, is Shavisi Hashem Lenegdi Tomid. That is, that I am, the Hashem Shekhinah is Lenegdi, is with me, is standing, a person has an audience. This is the essence of tefillah. Without this, it's not prayer. It's just saying words. If a person understands that they are in the presence of Hashem Shekhinah, but they don't understand all the words, just the meaning of the avos, the section of avos, they fulfill their mitzvah, because tefillah it is. This is Reb Chaim's Chiddush, as explained by Reb Yerucham. The essence of tefillah, we see, is understanding that we are privileged to have an audience with the Borei Olam, the Creator, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that every single individual has the opportunity to stand and actually be in the presence of Hashem, Kenegdi Tomid. The Alter von Kelm says that we learn the essence of tefillah from the pasuk La'avdei b'chol levavchem, in which the Torah tells us, the Chazal tell us, in the Masechta Tainis, what kind of service is it to Hashem that is done with one's heart? Usually service is done with action. How do you serve with the heart? And it says, Zu Tefillah. This is davening. We see that davening tefillah, realizing that we are in the presence of Hashem, is a service unto Hashem. The Alter von Kelm asks, what kind of service is that? Yes, we acknowledge, we express our gratitude to Hashem, but most of the Shemona Esrei is our bakasha, is the request that we're making. Hashem, give me parnasa. Hashem, hear my prayers. Hashem, give me good health. Hashem, bring me this, bring me that. How are we serving Hashem? By presenting our requests. The Alter von Kelm explains that the essence of tefillah is to recognize that Hashem is not just the Borei, but He is the Manhig, and that He is the Kol Yochel. There is nothing that escapes Hashem. Hashem, the Hashgacha Pratis, His knowledge of every iota and detail for humanity, is endless and boundless. And the purpose of our making these requests are not that we should necessarily be answered, because in truth man doesn't know what's in his best interest, but rather to understand that Hashem is the source, He is the Makor. If we reflect and think about how privileged we are, that we are Hashem's Am Kodesh, His holy nation, His Segula Mikol Ha'amim, His special, unique treasure, Ubechol Bocha, that Hashem has chosen, and that we have this privilege to have this audience with Hashem, to speak to Hashem. He allows us to come in His presence. Certainly we would have a different attitude when it comes to davening. We find that there are those, unfortunately, and with each and every one of us, of which we get distracted, and perhaps we talk during davening. Why do people talk during davening? What is it about? Why do they do that? It seems to indicate and suggest that we fail to recognize that we are indeed standing in the presence of the Shekhinah, that we have this audience with Hashem. If a person would have an audience with a king, he would dress differently, he would act differently, he would speak differently, his entire perspective, his attitude, he would be so totally different. We're in the presence of Hashem. The talking and davening, the sadness of the speaking during davening is that it indicates that we fail to realize the great opportunity